You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
How's this? I'll ask a question.
What question?
Jazz question. Hey, you get it right. We roll.
I know everything there is to know about Miles. Lay it on me.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neil, and you are listening to Trivial Mania 2, our next edition of WWE Trivia. Joining me in the studio is my co-host Ken.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
And we have a very special guest in the studio today for Trivial Mania 2. He is a Chicago area independent wrestler that goes by the name Very Metal Brendan Conway. How's it going, Brendan?
It's going really well. Really glad to be here for the show. This is going to be a lot of fun. Hey, is it okay if I plug some of my upcoming dates?
Yes, please. Tell us where we can find you. We've watched some of your matches. You're awesome, and we want other people to see you in the ring as well.
August 12th is Pro Wrestling Blitz WrestleFest in Romeoville. Freelance Wrestling, July 21st here in Chicago. Northern Lights Wrestling, August 19th in prestigious Godley, Illinois. Viva La Wrestling, August 27th in a 21 and over show at Reggie's Rock Club. And then Kaiju Attack Wrestling, August 26th in Berwyn, Illinois at the Eagles Club.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds like some good times up ahead. I know I've been to the Eagles Club for an event before, so that's always a packed house. And Reggie sounds fun, too. It's a great venue.
And I love it, like a 21 and over venue. That experience is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we're excited. All you Triviality listeners, you've made it known that you liked the wrestling trivia episode. So, like we said, this is Trivial Mania 2, and we hope to continue more. If you think you're an expert, hit us up. But today, in the center of the ring, under the spotlight, is going to be Very Metal Brendan Conway. So here we go. We're just going to go right into it.
And he's bobbing his head up and down, just like he's standing in the center of a ring.
Yep, and at the end of this, Brendan, if you do survive, we hope you'll cut a promo on any other Triviality listeners who think they're better than you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so here we go. First question. At WrestleMania 1, Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Bob Orndorff took part in a tag team match against Hulk Hogan and who?
Mr. T.
Mr. T is correct. Speaking of that match, each of those teams had a little extra help at ringside. Two wrestlers whose son and daughter would go on to be current members of the SmackDown brand. Who are they?
Oh my God. How do I don't, oh man. I haven't watched that match in a long time. I'm trying to think. They have a son and a daughter. Yep. I'm trying to think who's...
Two separate wrestlers. I'll give you an extra little hint. Muhammad Ali was the guest referee, and he almost tried punching one of these helpers on the side of the ring.
I'm at a loss. I don't know.
So the first one, I'll give you one and then see if you can get the other one. The first one is Cowboy Bob Orton, whose son is Randy Orton.
Oh, okay.
And on the other side was Jimmy Snuka.
And
Tamina, yep. All right, moving right along. Dwayne Johnson's ring persona was The Rock for most of his career. When he made his WWF debut, his name was a combination of his father and grandfather's ring names. What was it?
High Chief Peter Maivia and Rocky Johnson. Rocky Maivia.
There you go. Yeah, and he even gave us the father and grandfather's name.
Or wanted his name before that, Flex Kavanaugh.
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, speaking of Rocky Maivia, what was his nickname when he first came out?
It couldn't have lasted very long. The Blue Chipper.
Blue Chipper.
Right?
There you go. Yep, that's it.
So right now you're 3-1, so you're coasting along. So this one is close to our hearts. You know, we're fans of the Macho Man, Randy Savage, and who did Randy Savage defeat in WrestleMania 4 to become world champion?
Oh, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, that's right, the $1 Million Man.
Oh yeah, that whole storyline, I don't know, was great. Leading up to that, he bought the belt off of Andre, and then they had to set that tournament up. That kind of led to like the Mega Powers after Hogan interjected himself in the match a little bit.
If you say so, man. You're the expert.
You're gonna get some kind of like fact check me and like discredit me now.
They can meet you in the ring then if they disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on to the next question. You know, Randy Savage is the cream of the crop, but at one time he was also the Spider. That's early in his career. He was known as the Spider.
Mm-hmm.
But he also made a cameo as a wrestler in Spider-Man, and Peter Parker had to fight him. What was his name in Spider-Man?
Bonesaw.
Bonesaw is ready. That's right. The cream of the crop, Randy Savage himself.
R.I.P.
So one of Randy Savage's best opponents was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Sure.
And he actually once shared a theme song with what NBA team?
It's very famous for the basketball team. Very famous.
Yeah, very famous entrance music for the basketball team.
The only like basketball entrance song that I know is like the Chicago Bulls song, that banana 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 banana.
Chicago Bulls, yeah.
It's an Alan Parsons Project song. That's all I know about it.
It's called Sirius.
Called Sirius, spelled the same way like Sirius XM.
The constellation. All right, moving on to the next question. What wrestler used his unique experience as a former corrections officer in Cobb County, Georgia, to his advantage while facing such opponents as Mr. Perfect, Hulk Hogan, and Bam Bam Bigelow?
This wrestler was the very first wrestler that I ever saw. And I distinctly remember moving into the house that I grew up in, and then like seeing this dude on the TV, and that's the Big Boss Man. That
would be him. He was always a fun one to watch. Great matches. Probably the best match he ever had was with Mr. Perfect, I would think. They had that great intercontinental match.
And his rivalry with the Mountie,
oh yes,
drove me up the wall as a kid. I was like, I hate the Mountie so much. I hate this guy.
I was telling Ken, he was asking about baby faces and heels and everything, and I said what wrestling does probably better than any other form of entertainment is it immediately lets you know who you should hate and who you should love, and they're just so good at that. Obviously with Big Boss Man, it's like, well, we can't like a Canadian version of Big Boss Man, so we got to hit the Mountie.
Oh, for sure, and he's got the taser, and he cheats.
And whether you're loved or hated in the ring, Brendan, I'm sure you're loved by our Triviality fans. So
yes. Come out to these shows.
So this question, I think you should know. We were just kind of talking about the way that wrestling moves work and how sometimes a finisher is actually a combination of two different moves, and it might start with one move, finish with another move. We know that your finishing move, Merciful Fate, is sort of a variation of a brain buster. John Cena and Brock Lesnar's finishing moves, the Attitude Adjustment and F5, both start with what technique to get the move going?
A fireman's carry.
Fireman's carry is correct. So our next question, current SmackDown wrestler and the new face of America, Kevin Steen, uses a fake last name that comes from his favorite wrestler of all time.
Owen Hart.
Owen Hart, that's right. Kevin Owens, yep.
Well, speaking of which, on May 23rd, 1999, unfortunately, tragedy struck at the WWF when he tragically fell from his harness. But what was the pay-per-view event called that occurred at?
Over the Edge.
Over the Edge. That's exactly right.
Yep. And a funny story about Kevin Owens, too, with his love of Owen Hart. He named his son Owen after Owen Hart as well. And he told a story when he first moved to Florida with his wife and kid, that when they looked at one of the bedrooms in the house that they would be moving into and they were considering the house, the bedroom had the name Owen on it, and he thought that was a sign that he had to live at that house.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That is serendipitous.
It is. Our next question. The British Bulldog was the ring name of what British professional wrestler?
Davey Boy Smith.
That is correct, Davey Boy Smith.
Coasting along here. And we're going to go into a rapid fire round. We're going to give you the catchphrases of 5 superstars, and we just want you to name the star.
All right, the first one here is, for the benefit of those with flash photography.
Yes, Edge and Christian.
That is correct.
All right, the next one is, get the tables.
Oh, the Dudley Boys.
That is correct. The next one, and apologies for my pronunciation, everyone from other countries, Viva la Raza.
Oh, the Guerreros.
Yep.
Well, Eddie Guerrero, but then when he was tagging with Chavo.
All right, and the next one, I'm straight edge, which means I'm better than you.
For a Chicago indie wrestler, I'm really going to have to pick my brain. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the catchphrase of Bones Maroney, also known as CM Punk.
Yep, that's right.
Ooh, very good. Very good.
Had to show off a little bit.
Don't call him Phil.
Yeah, don't call him Phil. Yeah. And the last one in this fast round here, it's more of a current catchphrase of his. He's had many other catchphrases, but this one is one of my personal favorites in the last 10 years. You just made the list.
Oh, Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho, that's right. I thought of this last run he had, where he was best friends with Kevin Owens, and his whole feud, it was so good.
It was great. Yeah, I really liked it.
And one final question for you here before we wrap things up. Who was the first woman to hold the Intercontinental Championship?
China.
China is right.
That is correct.
It looks like you got 17 of those correct and only one wrong. So you are the cream of the crop today.
The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better.
The cream of the crop.
This is truly your category, and you can be proud of your performance here today.
I am, man. I can't believe I forgot that freaking Bob Orton and Jimmy Snuka interfered in the main event of WrestleMania 1. I can't believe I forgot that.
Yeah, if you YouTube it, it's funny. So they're trying to interfere, and that's when Muhammad Ali gets in the ring, and he starts swinging at both of them, and the crowd just goes insane because he's throwing punches at Bob Orton.
All right, guys, so we're going to wrap things up here. Thanks again to Brendan Conway for being our guest.
So, Brendan, why don't you just give us a few plugs of your social media?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at CMonster, the capital letter C _ monster 1984. Mm-hmm. You can follow me on Pokemon Go at I'm Hank Scorpio.
Okay, how do you spell that?
I am HANKSCORPIO.
Awesome. For any of you Pokemon Go fans out there.
Team Instinct.
Team Instinct. Before we let you go, one thing maybe you can take us out with is your record was 17-1, Ken?
17-1, yeah.
17-1. This was Trivial Mania 2, and he bested my score. So we'd love you to cut a promo on anyone who thinks they can beat your 17-1 score.
All right.
And it looks like Neil's going to have to strap on the tights and hop in the ring with you there.
Well, this is very metal Brendan Conway, and this is a message to any poser out there who thinks that they can beat my 17-1 record. Why don't you come out here and get caught in a mosh?
You heard it here first, folks. Very Metal Brendan Conway is calling out all of you posers to see if you can beat him in Trivial Mania 3, which will hopefully be our next WWE-themed Lay It On Me. Thank you so much, Brendan, for being here. We hope you guys go check out independent wrestling, because without the independents, WWE wouldn't exist, and you wouldn't be able to wear that John Cena t-shirt all around town and tell people to never give up. So, Ken, you want to take us out?
Yeah, thanks, Neil. Once again, this has been Brendan Conway. He's freelance, Pro Wrestling Blitz, Kaiju Attack, and please make sure to get out to those dates that he mentioned, because it's very important to support the independent scene.
Yep, thanks, guys, and make sure to look in the comments for all those dates and where you can find them. And Brendan, any last words?
Thanks for having me, guys. I had a great time. Can't wait for this to come out.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Take a minute out and think for yourself what it would be like to go through life absolutely perfect, with no flaws, no blemishes. Every single thing you do is absolutely perfect. Well, you're looking at the man who was born with the sign of perfection that hangs over him, and the man who likes to take advantage of people, a man who likes to beat people at their own game. That's what I do the best. That's why I'm Mr. Perfect. And everybody in the World Wrestling Federation, you better take a good look, because I have an unblemished record. I have a perfect record. Nobody's beaten me. I have no flaws. I have no blemishes. But if you really stop and think about it, what would you expect from Mr. Perfect?